Hello and welcome to my live chat week. What are we on? Week 5. It must be week 5, right? Do you think it's week 5? How many times have I done this? Maybe week 4? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what week we're even on now, or even what day it is, or even what time it is. I'm so confused. Can anyone tell me how many live streams I have done so far during this pandemic? Because I have forgotten. It feels like a lot. Somebody came in and then they left. Somebody's here. And maybe they've gone to find out how many live streams I've done. I was just saying I don't know how many live streams I've done so far during the pandemic. I've kind of forgotten. Anyway, what's been happening in... Oh, WhatsApp. What's been happening in the Purple House this week? Well, I can't think what we've been doing really. It feels like the days and the weeks are blending into one. Hi Marie. I've been doing lots of Animal Crossing. My Animal Crossing told me that I have paid for 30 hours or more, and I've only had it for 2 weeks now, coming up to 3 weeks. Hi, Michael. Hi, Joyce. So I guess that means that I've been playing quite a lot of Animal Crossing. I have also been working really hard on my content so that there's some videos coming your way. And this is the thing that I did this week. I started doing TikTok, not in any kind of work capacity. Don't go over there to find me expecting any autism videos because I'm not doing that. But I got bored enough to download TikTok and have to say I have been quite entertained by it. It is quite entertaining. Lots of videos with dogs on there doing funny things, which is one of my favourite things to watch. And just lots of healthcare professionals doing dances, which I really like. Hi Beth, welcome to my channel. Hope you like it over here. We try to be a friendly community for neurodiverse and disabled people and their families and friends and just anyone. Hi Catherine, nice to see your little member badge there. Hooray! So that's what I've been doing. What else have I been doing? It's like one massive blend. Oh, is it worth buying a Nintendo Switch just to buy Animal Crossing? Well, I did, Marie, in fact, buy a Nintendo Switch in order to buy Animal Crossing, and would say that at this time particularly has been so that the Nintendo Switch Lite, which is what I bought, was £200. Animal Crossing was £50. So £250, and I've already played for 30 hours in 2 weeks, which is bringing it down to less. It's not your internet. It's not anyone's internet. It was my internet. I'm very sorry about that. Don't run away. That was not your internet. That was my internet, and I am back because I think it's sorted now. Basically, the purple kids all have to be instructed that while I'm doing my live stream, they are not allowed to be on the internet because I want to make sure. I don't even know if that's how it works because I'm technically incapable. But I want to make sure that there's enough bandwidth, I think that's the word, to be live streaming successfully for you guys. So I'm back and I think I'm going to be okay now. Where was I? Animal Crossing, the weekend. What did I do at the weekend? Oh, we had... no, Catherine, not your internet. I'm really enjoying your little badge. So Catherine has a little special badge because she has joined the Purple People along with some other people. I was really pleased to see people joining that. Let me tell you a little bit about that. Hi, Kim. So I have, some of you may have noticed, started a new membership-only club on my channel. So I'm not putting all my stuff behind a paywall because I would never do that because that's just not me. But I have started a club where you can join and it is a small monthly fee for those of you who'd like a little bit more Ella in your lives. You crazy people. So basically you pay a monthly fee, you get exclusive videos and content and decision-making stuff. And also if you have a little look at Catherine, you get little badges that come up when you're on the live stream. And I think you can also use little emojis. Can you ever go using one of your emojis, Catherine? Because this is the first week I've had a chance to see that. And I'm very excited about that. So before anything else, I am going to get started. I have got Lego, I have got book of the week, I have got film of the week, I have got TV show of the week, and I have your isolation creations. Where would you like me to start? And you get Coco and Katsu emojis, see? I designed all of these emojis myself, which I was very excited to do because I do love using my Apple Pencil and my iPad to do that. Hi Ashley, hi Michelle. Happy Earth Day, happy Earth Day. I think the earth is probably quite happy at the moment with us all inside, not out there polluting it. Hi Gary, nice to see you. So yes, so that's what's happening with the Purple People. So if you are interested in the Purple People Club, what you need to do is go to my channel, click the join button, and it tells you all about it. Clicking the join button will not commit you to joining. It'll just give you more information on the Purple People and what I'm doing there. And essentially, the reason that I'm doing this is, as a disabled person, it can be really difficult to start a business, have a career, feel like you've got something going for yourself and you're not just reliant on your partner or on benefits or whatever. And this is one way that I can kind of build the Purple Ella business whilst working from home and taking care of myself, and that then gives me kind of the this financial stability to be able to focus on the other work that I do, like free schools training and supporting other autistic people in a capacity that doesn't mean they have to pay. So that's my little spiel on that. That's my little self-promotion. Do go and have a look at that join button. It would be great to see more of you there. So where do you want me to start? Lego or book? You always go for book, so I'm kind of guessing that's where we're going. So I don't even know why I'm doing this, but you missed my answer about Animal Crossing. Essentially, Marie, yes, it is worth it. I have done the calculations, and my Animal Crossing is now costing me less than £10 an hour. It's really fun. I'm really enjoying it. I would recommend it if you can afford it. Lego. Okay, Michelle, thank you for your commitment there. So I have some pretty exciting Lego this week. This is not a Lego set that you can buy. So a little while ago, I became friends with someone on Twitter who started out following me, and then we became friends, who ended up making a video with me, which you can find under autism and digestive issues. His name is Rob, and he's really lovely. He also has his own videos under something like An Autistic's View, I think his name is, but he's not on YouTube. He has his own blog where he puts his videos. Anyway, when he came to make this video with me, he rather excitingly, he had one for me and he had one for Roz, because we made it together, had made a Purple Ella brickhead. So for those of you that don't know, brickheads are little Lego models of various, there's Marvel ones, there's Beauty and the Beast ones, there's Harry Potter ones, and I've got a whole bunch of them, but he had made a Purple Ella brickhead, and here she is. So this is my Purple Ella custom made brickhead. This is not how I actually look. This is how I would like to look, and I think it's beautiful. So, having received this Purple Ella brickhead, Robo Boy, our middle boy, is actually a very talented master builder and can build almost anything you can imagine out of Lego without really seeming any effort. You say to him, "Build us a flamingo," and he goes blah, 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 and produces something that looks like a flamingo. We're all very impressed by that in the Purple House. So he decided that since I had a Purple Ella brickhead, we needed a Mr. Purple brickhead to go with it. So he made a Mr. Purple brickhead. So now, oh dear, I'm so pleased to see you. I worry every week when you say, oh, I don't know when it is or how to find it. I worry that you haven't found it, so I'm very pleased to see you, especially. So this is Mr. Purple. It does actually look a lot more like Mr. Purple than mine looks like me. And Mr. Purple is a very keen gardener, so he's put him in a garden. So, hello, hello. Shall I stop that? I think I've gone too far. What do you think? Anyway, so Purple Ella and Mr. Purple, the brickheads. Yay! That is my Lego this week. So, getting into the rest of it, let me get my book and my special pen. My book of the week is a book by, do you know, I've written down the book title. I haven't written down the author, but I'm going to go with by Jojo Malone, I think her name is. And the book is Me Before You. My book and movie recommendations are quite disability themed. So Me Before You is about a girl who is a little bit aimless and drifting along in life. She's working in a cafe and she ends up losing her job, and she ends up taking a job as a carer for a guy who is, I think the correct word is paraplegic. And they develop this, Jojo Moyes, yes, thanks Kate. They develop this really close relationship, and it's a bit of a romantic book, but it's got an incredibly sad ending. So I'm recommending Me Before You by Jojo Moyes, and it's a really good book. I've read it twice, and there is also a movie. It's not my movie recommendation, but it is also a movie if movies are more your thing than books. My movie of the week recommendation is also disability themed. It is The Theory of Everything, which many of you might know. It stars Eddie Redmayne, who I love because he also is in Fantastic Beasts as Newt, who is probably the fictional character that I would most like to date. You didn't ask that, but I gave it you anyway. And he plays Stephen Hawking right from when he was a young student, before he knew that he had a disability, right up until, well, not until he died, because the film was actually made before Stephen Hawking sadly died. Stephen Hawking, I'm not making that up, Stephen Hawking did die, right? He did die, right?
Yes.
Yes, he did. Okay, sorry. I'm just having a bit of a moment. You've got to bear in mind that I'm live streaming in the middle of pandemic chaos, and I'm quite often just not really quite as with it as I would be if I was sat filming a video, and I also can't edit myself, so, you know, that can be a problem. Thank you. Yes, thanks. Sadly, he did die, but the movie is absolutely fantastic. I really enjoyed it, and obviously Stephen Hawking is such a fantastic role model for everyone, let alone for disabled people, in terms of someone who did not let his situation stand in the way of what he wanted to achieve. So I love that. My TV show of the week, we have been watching this week, Mr. Purple and I, Inside Number 9, which is on Netflix. The Theory of Everything is also on Netflix. Inside Number 9 is, I want to say BBC. It is BBC, I think. It's a BBC program. There's 4 seasons on Netflix, and each episode is an individual story in and of itself. It's a little bit like The Twilight Zone, but not quite as sci-fi. Each one is different and unique, and I've been really enjoying them. They're real thinkers. So that is, book of the week is Me Before You by Jojo Moles. Movie of the week is The Theory of Everything, and the TV show of the week is Inside Number 9. Which moves me along nicely to this week's isolation creations. I haven't had as many isolation creations sent to me this week. Does that mean that you guys have been feeling less creative? Or have you been feeling less like bothering to send me your isolation creations? I don't know. Either way, I'd love more isolation creations for next week, because they really do brighten up my inbox. So my first isolation creation is from Ashley, who sent me a cake that she made. I've got to say, I'm not entirely sure. Oh, your mum's watching from Norfolk. Hi, Katie's mum in Norfolk. Hope you're having a good day. I'm not really sure what it says on the cake, so this is maybe an isolation creation as well as a challenge for you guys. What do you think this cake says? Can you see it properly? My light's kind of showing up there. This is a cake that Ashley made, and I'm really not sure what it says. So if you can see what that says, do let me know. Gary, you send them to me. You email ella@purpleella.com to send me your isolation creations. Thanks for reminding me of that. My next, I have three isolation. Happy Flan Day. Happy Flan Day. That could work. Or Happy Fun Day. Or Huppy Fun Day. Hi Jodie, Happy Flan Day. That's decided then. 2 people saw that, so she made a cake that for some reason, I'm not sure why, Ashley, maybe you can explain, says Happy Flan Day. Why not have a Happy Flan Day? Anyway, moving on before I start going too far again. The next isolation creation is beautiful. It is a daffodil ornament that Anna made as a gift for her grandma's birthday, and I think this is lovely. It's metal, and it's on a little stand, she said, and she said it's not anywhere near as big as it looks in the picture, but I think that's made out of metal. I think that's quite impressive. I'm a he, and it says Happy Autism Day. Maybe it does say Happy Autism Day. Oh no, that's Ashley. Ashley's saying that's what it says, so you know because you made it. It's a cake, and it says Happy Autism Day. I'm sorry, Ashley. I hope you're not insulted. Sometimes I'm just a bit dizzy. It says, so that's it, guys. It says Happy Autism Day. Clearly says Happy Autism Day, and I just can't read. Okay, and final isolation creation is from those of you who were here last week. Do you remember Mark from Twitter, who's been making food that looks bad? but tastes good. So essentially what he's been doing is sending me the what it should look like from the recipe and what it actually looked like. And this week Mark had a go at this particular bread. Here's the bread. Here's what it should look like. Looks rather delicious. I might add a few dips if that were mine. And here, I'm sorry, Mark. Here is what Mark's bread actually looks like. Okay, so should look like, does look like. Should look like, does look like. I think you'll agree. Mark does assure me that this did taste delicious, particularly toasted with a bit of butter on it, he said. But I think you'll agree, not really quite achieving the aesthetics that he was aiming for there. I look forward to whatever Mark creates next week. No, Ashley, we were not offended by your cake. It's a lovely cake. Thank you so much for sending that to me. Now, this week I have a very special thing to share with you guys. So Alice, who I think is in the live stream right now, has a daughter called Izzy, who I first had contact about 2 or 3 months ago. The National Autistic Society ran a live stream that I was not part of, I was watching. And a little girl called Izzy started to talk to me a little bit, and she said that she really liked my channel and that she was really inspired by me, which is always really touching. It's always great to feel like I'm having a good influence on the next generation of autistic people as they grow up. That's fantastic. So that was lovely to hear, and I believe that Izzy has been following me for a little while, as has her mum Alice. Anyway, Izzy turns 11 on Saturday, and her mum got in touch with me asking me if I would wish her happy birthday. So this is Izzy. Isn't she cute? Maybe she doesn't want to be cute. Maybe she wants to be all grown up, but I think she's cute. Look at that hat and look at that smile. So Izzy, happy birthday. I hope you have a fantastic day. From everyone in the live stream, if you'd all like to wish Izzy a happy birthday right now, I think that would be fantastic. Brilliant. So that is everything on my list, I think, of things that I'm doing. Have I had any questions?
Casey, Mr. Purple, if he was a superhero, would he be Marvel or DC?
If Mr. Purple was a superhero, would he be Marvel or DC? I think he would be DC because Mr. Purple's favourite superhero is the classic Superman. So yeah, I definitely say he would be DC. However, if I were a superhero, which you didn't ask, but I'm going to answer anyway, I would be Marvel. So we'd be in rival franchises, I think, essentially. Were there any more questions?
Yes. Through the autistic lens, autism, how are you remaining calm during lockdown?
How am I remaining calm during lockdown through the autism lens? I'm quite surprised at how calm I've been, and I wish I knew the secret as to why, but I would say it's a combination of things. As I've mentioned like a million times now, routine. We have quite a firm routine going on here, which is really helping. But I also think it's all my hobbies, because I think DC is the best. Batman though, yeah, that's true. Batman is pretty cool. I think that having lots of hobbies, I have lots of hobbies. So I play Animal Crossing, I draw on the iPad, I have my dog and I do dog training. What else do? I watch quite a lot of TV, I read books, I bake. I have lots of hobbies that mean that if I start to feel anxious or I start to feel worried, I can just go, right, okay, what hobby am I going to do? And then I can throw myself into that. So yesterday, I had a bit of a wobbly day yesterday. For some reason, Tuesdays, I've mentioned this before, Tuesday seems to be my day to be wobbly, and I'd had a bit of a wobbly day. And by about lunchtime, I was feeling like a little bit tearful and a little bit wobbly. But then in the afternoon, Roz and another friend of mine, Jules, and I had a Zoom and we did some art together, and we did the prompt, draw your friend as a superhero. So we all did that, and I drew my friend Jules as a superhero called Tea Lady with Biscuit Boy as her sidekick. And we did about an hour and a half, and I just felt a lot calmer after that. So I think throwing myself into my hobbies is a big part of how I'm staying calm. The second part of how I'm personally staying calm is the fact that I'm a mother and I have a responsibility to try and be as calm as I possibly can. So that's helping me to stay calm too. Any more questions, or shall I just ramble?
Would like tips for hygiene and sensory overload.
Tips for hygiene and sensory overload. Jodie, could you expand on that a little bit? I'm not really sure whether you want me to tell you about my showering habits or whether you're talking about difficulties with personal hygiene because of sensory issues. So I'm not sure I can answer that without a little bit of clarification.
Beth would like to know how to send the creations in. Can you just remind people?
Just to remind you, if you want to send me your isolation creations, which you should because it's really fun, you need to email Ella at purpleella.com. And that's purple, the colour, followed by my name, Ella. So it's a double E.com.
Catherine asks, do you ever get so engrossed in your hobbies that you don't realise how exhausted you are?
Yes, Catherine, I do absolutely get very engrossed in my hobbies. And also in the work that I do here, making videos and editing. Quite often, Mr. Purple will say to me, do you need to rest, or how long are you going to do that for? Because I get really focused on what I'm doing, and then I just don't notice the time going by. Or the other thing that I'll do is I'll be doing it and I'll think, oh, I'll just finish it because I'm not sure how I'm going to feel tomorrow or whether I'll be able to do it tomorrow, so I'll use the energy while I've got it. And then I'll go into running on adrenaline. So for those of you that aren't familiar with this, I wasn't familiar with this until about 3 or 4 years ago. Sometimes when you do stuff, you feel like you've got even more energy than you did when you started, and you get quite buzzy and you keep doing and doing and doing, and what you're actually doing is running on adrenaline, which means that when you do stop, you're going to have a big crash and feel a lot worse than you did than you would have done if you'd done a shorter amount of time and then taken some time to rest. So that is something that I very commonly get into. So yes, I do. And what I'm really trying to do is, and I think this comes from Silicon Valley, it's called micro scheduling. So what you do is you do what you're doing, but for a shorter period of time. So say 45 minutes of video editing in my case, and then you have a rest, and then you do your next activity for a short amount of time. And if this is good enough for Silicon Valley, I've decided it's good enough for me. So micro scheduling, I think, is a good way to get around that. Actually deciding how long you're going to do an activity for before you even start doing it, and being quite disciplined and sticking to that, even if that means setting an alarm so you know when you're going to stop.
So Beth says, any tips for stopping meltdowns? Her and her children are autistic and they have meltdowns together.
Family meltdowns. Gosh, I'm quite lucky. There are 3 of us in the Purple House on the autistic spectrum. My eldest super kid is autistic but does not have meltdowns, so that's never an issue. My youngest does have meltdowns, but I don't think that we've ever had a meltdown at the same time. That must be really, really challenging. And I would say that the only solution to that would be like that thing that they say when you're on an aeroplane, that you need to take care of yourself first, put your own oxygen on first, is that if you're in meltdown, you need to do whatever you need to do to take care of yourself, even if that means ignoring your children, as hard as that would be, because you can't help them until you have taken care of yourself. In terms of preventing meltdowns, it's all of the stuff that I always say. It's scheduling, it's sensory, taking care of your sensory needs, it's managing overload. It's basically all that self-care stuff to make sure that you are in a level and regulated place, which makes it less likely that you're going to get into meltdown. In terms of emailing me your questions, somebody just asked about emailing questions. Unfortunately, I really would love to personally support every single person who is following my channel or following my Facebook or whatever, and reply to all of their questions, but I get a lot of emails from people, and it's really hard for me to not reply to them all, but I actually can't, because I'm looking after 3 children and myself and running all of this, and that's really challenging. So unfortunately, I think the best thing to do is to come to my live stream and ask the question on there, or I've got a lot of videos and you might find that the answers are actually already there in the videos that I've made. I noticed that some of you are commenting on my collaboration with Yo Samdy Sam. I'm very excited about that. We are meeting tomorrow to discuss that further. So the first thing that's going to be happening is that I'm going to be on her live stream on the 1st of May at 7 o'clock, and we're going to be talking, I believe, about the autism assessment process. And then the following week, I'm going to be putting up a video where we answer your questions about being an autistic parent. So yeah, I'm excited about that too. It's pretty cool. We already had a Zoom chat, so we've now officially kind of met, and that was really nice. Were there any more questions?
Michelle is concerned about going back to work in an office. She's been working much better at home, and as the communication's broken, she feels like she's herself. You got any suggestions?
About going back to that office environment when you've been actually fortunate enough to work at home where you can have all the accommodations that you want. Obviously, I don't work in an office, so that's not something that I have to do. But, Katie, good answer. Katie's saying that she would ask for a phased return to work, and that's a really great suggestion. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make a video once we know that the lockdown is coming to an end. I'm going to make a video dealing with these kinds of questions. How do we reintegrate back into life? But for right now, I would say yes, phased return. Perhaps there's things you've learned from your experience of working at home that you can take into work and ask for accommodations about. Perhaps there's stuff that comes from being at home that you could implement at work now that you've had that experience. And if possible, would you be able to do some more of your work at home and do less hours in the office? I don't know whether that's possible, but that might be something that makes it might be worth discussing with your supervisors or with what are they called? The people that look after human resources. I think it's going to be about, as Katie is saying with a phased return, gently re-exposing ourselves to the world in small increments until we're able to handle it again, rather than going straight from this back into full-on regular life. So no more questions. So that means that I will have to sing. What would you like me to sing? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, but I think that actually right now isn't the time to be worrying particularly about what's going to happen when we go back to work, because I really don't think it's going to be a case of the government says, right, everything back to normal, and the next day we've all got to go to work and do regular stuff. I think it's going to be naturally a little bit of a phased return anyway into normal life. So I really think that we shouldn't worry too far ahead of ourselves, because that makes me feel scared and stressed. So maybe it makes you feel scared and stressed. So I think one of the things that has come out of this situation actually for a lot of disabled people and autistic people is that those accommodations that we've all been wanting and asking for years are possible, because they've all happened as a result of the pandemic. Things that we've been fighting for decades are now suddenly possible. Suddenly it's possible to work at home. Suddenly it's possible to do more stuff via video conference. Suddenly it's possible to do courses on the internet that it wasn't possible to do before now. So more questions?
Indy says her little sister, 10 years old, has been diagnosed with Asperger's, and personally thinks that her mother and herself are the same, but as an adult, this female is difficult to be taken seriously.
Where's the question in there, sorry?
You must have a comment about that. Why is it difficult?
Why is it difficult to be taken seriously as a...
Okay, so their little sister's been diagnosed.
Okay.
And she thinks, similar to you probably and Lily, that herself and her mum are the same.
Okay.
But is finding it difficult to be taken seriously as an adult female.
Yes, it is difficult to be taken seriously as an adult female. I know that when I started to think that I might be autistic, there were a couple of friends that I spoke to who were like, don't be ridiculous, you're just being silly and neurotic. I was fortunate in that the medical professionals and people took me seriously, I guess because I actually had got quite a long history of mental health problems and engagement with mental health services and hospitalizations, and I had a lot of public meltdowns, and I think in some ways my autism is more obvious than it is for some women, but I think that it's not just, I think the thing that it's good to hold on to is that it's not just autistic adult women who struggle to be taken seriously. It's people with invisible disabilities in general. It's people with chronic fatigue syndrome. It's people with HEDS. It's people with POTS, people with MCAS. It's people who have something that isn't really obvious to see, find it hard to be taken seriously. And I think that society will change. It's just going to take time. I think things like the sunflower lanyards and just generally people like me, I guess, raising awareness of invisible disabilities like autism in women in some cases will gradually and slowly change that. And in the meantime, while we wait for the world to catch up, I think what's important is to realise that we can't make people take us seriously. That's not possible. That's on them. Their behaviour is on them. The only thing that we have responsibility for and control over is our reaction to not being taken seriously. So if someone said to me, for example, you're not autistic, look at you. I have had this said to me. In fact, there's a whole thread on some Scope forum somewhere about how Purple Ella isn't really disabled because look at her going to speak at conferences. And when I read stuff like that, I don't sit there and think, oh, maybe I'm not disabled, maybe I'm not autistic, maybe people don't believe me. And I don't take that on in that way. I just think, okay, that's your opinion, whatever, moving on. And I move on and I spend my time with people who do take me seriously. So I think how do you make people take you seriously is not the question. The question actually is, how do you cope with people not taking you seriously? Because there will always be people like that. There are always, I really want to use some swear words in this statement. There will always be, I'm going to replace a swear word with Muppets. There will always be Muppets in the world, and the only thing to do with these Muppets is ignore them and not give their voice any power over you. Mean people. Thanks, Beth. The flower lanyard. It is a lanyard that you can get in the UK now. I've got like a lot of them because people keep giving them to me, that you can wear or your children can wear. I don't know, if you're going shopping or to an airport or anywhere that you feel like you might struggle a little bit, that gives staff and the people around you that are aware of this scheme the knowledge. It's not just for travel anymore. It was originally just for travel, but now it's more generally used. The knowledge that you have an invisible disability and that you might need more support with that experience. Yeah, and it was originally, as Tia said, like years ago, I got given one in an airport. They were for airports. But in the last year, they've been brought out as a more general scheme across the board, which I think is absolutely fantastic and really useful. That said, I've never actually worn one anywhere. But that's possibly because I don't go to that many places because I've got a disability. We got any more questions?
Jodie is asking, how's it going with Super Kids transition?
How's it going with Super Kids transition? Super Kid, am I allowed to talk about that on the internet? Okay, Super Kid has said that's okay. I'm very private generally about Super Kid's transition because as far as I'm concerned, this is her story, not mine. But since she said it's okay to share, for those of you that don't know, my eldest daughter is trans and she's been out for about 18 months now. She's been transitioned for about 18 months now and that is going very well. She's very happy. She's very confident in who she is. She's very beautiful. Her hair has grown really long now, which is really lovely. She looks fantastic. She feels, as far as I know, fairly fantastic. Is that right, Super Kid? Do you feel okay? Yeah, I got the thumbs up. She feels good. We're all happy and comfortable. She's happy and comfortable. Some people have found it difficult that I haven't talked about that a lot on the channel. I had lots of questions around 6 months ago, like, hang on, didn't you used to have 2 boys and a girl, and now you've got 2 girls and a boy, what's going on? You owe us an explanation, which I found a little bit offensive. I've got to be straight, because I don't owe anyone an explanation, actually. It's a private family matter, and it's not even my private, like, I can talk about my own autism and my own stuff and my own habits, as much as I like. Oh, you used the rainbow emoji, Catherine, love it. But this is her story to tell, and we did actually sit down at one point and think about making a video, and she really didn't feel hugely comfortable talking about it on the internet just yet, so that's not something we get into, but she's doing brilliantly and we're all very happy. Is there anything else? Oh, my moderator is busy. It's really funny because before the lockdown, I was here at home. Mr. Purple's, for those of you that don't know, Mr. Purple is an electrician who works a lot of hours. He owns his own business and we have 3 people that work for us. If you are in Bristol and you need an electrician, Vector Electric are very good. I'd highly recommend them. That's our business. That's Mr. Purple's electrician business. And he works upwards of 50 hours each week. So I'm very much here doing this on my own. And what's been really fantastic about the lockdown has been that I've kind of had that assistance and that support. So he's helped me work out some sound issues and some focusing issues that I was having with my camera, and he's been moderating my live streams, as you know, and it's been really good because I see a lot of YouTubers who clearly have got support around them. They've got carers, they've got production people, and that makes it a lot easier to make this kind of content, and so it's been really great having his support. You Brizzle. Ooh, Brizzle. I'm feeling offended on Brizzle's behalf. I'm gonna assume
It's a wink.
Is it a wink? Oh, okay. Yeah, Brizzle is best in the West.
Indy's asking, do you have any general advice for helping people being taken seriously for a diagnosis?
Being taken seriously in terms of getting referred for a diagnosis, is that what they mean, do you think?
I guess, yes.
I need a translator for my questions. Before I get into that question, when I do public speaking, which I do quite often for the National Autistic Society and for other people, I do my whole speech about whatever topic and autism, bereavement or mental health or whatever, and I do my 30, 45-minute speech really confidently and really happily, and then we do the question and answer session, and I'm so confused by people's questions. I don't know what they're asking or how I'm supposed to answer, so this is really good practice for me. So in terms of being taken seriously, I'm assuming you mean going to the GP and getting them to take you seriously, in which case go in with a list of the reasons why you think that you might fit that diagnostic criteria. So start by looking up the diagnostic criteria of autism, autistic spectrum condition, I think it's called these days, and see where what you're experiencing fits in with those diagnostic criteria, and go in there and explain that. And if you can't explain that, write it down so you can just hand them a piece of paper. And if you can't even do that, take someone with you to support you who you've gone through this with, to help you explain why you think you might fit that diagnostic criteria. Because I think that sometimes GPs are they're not experts in any one particular area. They're like the general gatekeepers of the referrals to the people that are the experts. So I think sometimes if you go in there and you're like, I know what I'm talking about, I know the diagnostic criteria, I know why I think I fit it, they're much more likely to refer you than if you're vague or you don't sound confident. So when I went to see my doctor, I took a list and I gave him the list. And I've also supported people who've gone with their children in the same situation, that first paediatrician appointment where you're kind of hoping they'll trigger a diagnostic assessment. Those of you with children on the spectrum will know what I mean. You've got the paediatrician referral, you're hoping that they'll trigger a assessment, but they're really the gatekeepers and you're not sure whether that's going to happen. Again, I've always made lists with families that have gone in, tell me about your child, and then kind of put those things that I've been told under the headers of the diagnostic criteria, which I think are sensory sensitivities, repetitive behaviours, difficulties with social communication and interaction. Those are the three main diagnostic criteria for autism. Any more questions?
Yes, Beth says her 15-year-old is transgender. Would you consider doing a video on it in the future?
I think because up until now I haven't, because Superkid didn't want to be in a video, but I think if you wanted me to make a video about the experience of being a parent and going through that experience as a parent of a transgender child, and Superkid was okay with that, which I would obviously have to check, then yes, I think that could actually be a really good video for me to make. So I'll check with Superkid. If she's okay with it, I'll make that video. So shall we do 2 more questions and then call it a day? Call it a time to go and chill and play Animal Crossing and put my pajamas on? Because that's what I do next.
Hutchinson, how long did you wait for your diagnosis? She was referred in March last year, but my GP never picked it up.
Okay, how long did I wait? I was really, really, really lucky. I went to the GP in March and was diagnosed in June. And the reason that I was really lucky was what happened was I got a letter saying, we don't know how, there's a wait list, we'll let you know when you get to the top of it. And I rang them up and I said, look, that's fine. I don't mind if the appointment is 2 years from now, but I'd like it if there was an actual appointment, because if there is no appointment, every time the post comes, every single day for the next 2 years, I am going to be excited, maybe it's here, maybe it's not, and it's just going to put me on edge. And they said, we've got one doctor who will actually schedule you in. And I think because I'd asked that question, I was really lucky that this doctor scheduled me in for the June, so I only had to wait a few months, which was a real blessing for me. And I do, everyone that's waited for years, I have a friend who recently went through the process and she was 18 months on the waiting list, and I do really feel for you. On the other side of that, I'm actually currently waiting for an ADHD assessment, so I've been referred to the local ADHD team. I am going to be waiting for 2.5 years to get to the top of that wait list, which means that at the moment I'm expecting to be seen in 2022, which is really disappointing because I actually feel like ADHD medication could be really beneficial for me in terms of focus and also reducing my mood swings. And I've got to wait such a long time to even come close to accessing that. So I do have some personal experience that means I can relate. Right, one more question.
Jodie, who was asking about the personal hygiene stuff before, has clarified a bit. She just really wants tips for sensory overload.
tips for sensory overload. My first tip would be a weighted blanket. I love my weighted blanket. If you want to hear more about why weighted blankets are beneficial for autistic people, I made a video about weighted blankets that's in my product reviews section, and my weighted blanket massively reduces my sensory overload. I use it every night, but I'd also use it during the daytime if I was feeling overloaded. Noise reduction, earplugs or noise cancelling headphones when needed. Basically, it's a case of reducing the sensory input so that you're not becoming overloaded. And she's asking about hygiene. I don't really know what you're asking specifically, like how do you manage hygiene, how often to shower. I'm really sorry, Jodie, I'm just struggling with, I know that I think I remember from last week that you're 15, is that right? So I'm just going to launch in with an answer and hope it's the question you actually asked. I actually used to really struggle. I can't believe I'm talking about this on the internet. I used to struggle, yes, thanks Jodie. See, I remember you. I used to struggle with remembering like how often to shower and how often my hair needed washing. It's like stuff that isn't scheduled as a definite thing can be really difficult to stay on top of. So in my head now, I shower every 3 days and I wash my hair at the same time, and then every day you need to brush your teeth and wash your face, and that's kind of it covered really. Sensory side of hygiene, like you're having trouble with brushing your teeth or showering or whatever, there are like different flavored toothpaste that you can get if that's an issue. I would experiment with different products and different things that don't smell too strongly, maybe like products that don't have too many chemicals in them, like more natural kind of products, like the Dove range might be quite good. Earplugs can cause tinnitus in 10% of users. Interesting. Superkid has really bad tinnitus to the point where we've been to see specialists about it, but she's never tried earplugs, so it's not that. Anyway.
Last question. So Gary's been trying to get through. Have you created a new routine in lockdown?
Yes, Gary, I have created a new routine. I'm surprised you're still here and that you haven't gone for your dinner.
Yeah, it's dinner early.
You had his dinner early. Excellent, Gary. Good work. Yes, we have a routine. In the mornings, we do schoolwork with the kids. In the afternoons, I work on my Purple Ella stuff. Mr. Purple works on his business, and the children have some downtime. And then in the evenings, I chill out and watch TV, and that's pretty much the structure of my week. And then at the weekend, on a Saturday, I bake something, which the Purple family are loving. I'm actually going to have a go at macarons this week, which I'm feeling like that's quite brave. If that actually works, I'll share a picture next week in my isolation creations because they're quite hard. And then on a Sunday, I tend to do like an RPG or an art session or something with friends like that, or play a board game or something like that. So that's my rough routine. Right, everybody, it's been lovely to see you all again. Next week, I have this is what professional YouTubers do, remember it, Ella? Next week's, so Friday's video is all about coping with uncertainty. So we are living in very uncertain times. So I've made a video with 10 tips for coping with uncertainty, and that'll be out on Friday. And then next Wednesday, I'll be back with my usual live stream. In the meantime, if you would like to join the Purple People, the exclusive video for the Purple People will be out on the first Monday of every month. So I believe that is May the 1st in this instance. So you're going to want to join before then. Thank you for being here. Lovely to see you all. See you next week. Bye-bye.